So we finally made it to the last song on the album, and for all you guys, thank you for getting this far.
This is Trevor from Positively Pessimistic.
That's
the
me.
podcast. Listen to him.
So last track on the album, Worth It. I know earlier I said Tears Me Up, I think, is the deepest song lyrically, but Worth It to me is the heaviest song lyrically. It's definitely got kind of almost an anger to it that Tears Me Up didn't have. But also, I think one thing that's pretty big about this song is, you know, it's the only song on the album, and to my knowledge, the only song you guys have produced with each other that had the explicit tag slapped on it.
That's true.
So I just kind of want to know, you know, where the song came from, obviously, but why did this song, and like pun completely intended, why did this song feel like it was worth it to be your first and only explicit song on the album?
Man, this song was both very easy and very difficult to write.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it seems like a paradox is because when you go through something in your life that is so visceral and real, like it feels like nothing could be more like close to you. Mm-hmm. Lyrics just come out like that.
Yeah.
And it honestly, that kind of seems very shallow. It wasn't even the lyrics part. It was just like me trying to express how I felt.
Yeah, exactly.
In a moment, and it ended up coming out as a song, obviously, because that's the medium that we're good at, or that we use. But you asked about the explicit part of the song. Mm-hmm. If you notice in the song, though the explicit part of it is telling a story. Yeah. So it's telling part of the story that was from another person's perspective. Mm-hmm. And so I felt as though that was the best way to tell the story, was to not manipulate too much what really was happening, what really did happen. To not get too in-depth about this, mm-hmm. but to be very real. It was at a point early on in my marriage where things were very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. And I'm going to let the song speak for itself as far as the lyrics go. You guys can go ahead and listen to it and see what you think. Maybe leave a comment or ask questions if you want to. But essentially, the song is this: that you can go through some shit. I mean, you can go through some very, very difficult stuff. And this, again, kind of seems like a theme of the album. Mm-hmm. But by the end of this shitty situation, I ended up coming out on the other side with the help of my pastor, with the help of close friends, going, it's worth it. Yeah. Like, it really is worth it to stick through, again, the high highs, the low lows, the very, very difficult stuff that you almost don't even want to go through. Yeah. It's worth it. And let me tell you what, this song was written very early on, and now being very far out of it, it was worth it. It really was, looking back. And that was something that my pastor told me through the whole thing, is he goes, man, you probably will get on the other side of this. Almost word for word, he said, you will probably get on the other side of this a year, 2 years out, and you'll look back and you'll go, man, it was worth it. It was worth it to be obedient to what I knew I was supposed to be obedient to. Yeah. And I mean, I have a high respect for marriage. And so I think that, again, not in every situation, but I think in most situations, it's worth it to stick through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think just on the production end of it, like lyrically the song is really heavy, but the music is a lot more airy and a lot more open.
It's very simple.
Cool. I just want to know, like, was that kind of like dichotomy intentional with...
I think it was supposed to feel like very stripped back and raw. Like that was the point. Like that was the point of the lyrics. Yeah. The point of the whole story is to go like, here's a real piece of me. And it like just like many other songs, like you take the idea of going, here's one, part of a bigger story, and we're going to talk about this part of the story. And that's what I wanted to do instead of jumping around with a bunch of different stuff. I wanted to actually get into I wanted to complement what was being said, not just go like, I'm going to build my own world around it. And so that's kind of how that went. So it's very, very simply, like, it just started with piano. That's usually what happens when you have songs like this that are dry and raw, and you just want that to be the main focus.
Yeah.
That was basically it. And that piano portion, you can tell, is like the whole song.
Yeah.
think another cool part about this song was like
I love this.
this was just a unique piece that felt very emotional. It's like
saxophone.
It's like an electronic saxophone sound, and it's really in a bunch. But it just felt very like, I know it sounds like a Kenny G-esque, like
A little bit.
but still like it felt very like good for the
Yeah.
break and everything. And the ending of the song being the redeeming factor. It's kind of awesome.
So yeah, that's Worth It, and as a whole, that is Tough Love.
Yeah.
So I just have a question for each of you, and don't think about it too much. Just try to like answer pretty quick. But so for you, Max, what is your favorite lyric from this album?
Oh man, it's such a difficult question. I like different things for different reasons, right? I like the pop culture ones because they're kind of witty or whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, off the top of my head, when we were talking about By the Way, and we were talking about the dichotomy in the pre-chorus, we've been in the light and in the dark, been so close and worlds apart, and so high and so low. Like that to me, in my life, not even just my marriage, but everything, that's a pretty good like representation of relationships.
Very cool.
I love all that stuff. Yeah.
And for you, Zach, what is your favorite piece of music from the album? Like just one moment that you're like, this is my favorite part.
Dude, I don't even know where to go with that, honestly, because every song has its own flavor and vibe, and any other word you want to use as an adjective.
What's the first thing that comes to your head right now, just off the top?
I think of the drums to Tears Me Up. I love like bebop, like
Yeah.
fat sounding, like big, like lots of room mic drums. I don't know, that kind of stuff. Just like, yes, I don't know, that kind of stuff probably is the one thing. Obviously, like vocal manipulation stuff is the first thing because you hear a hook.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely into guitar sounds, so that's probably the number one thing.
Yeah.
Here's one thing we could say, maybe to the people that are watching. Maybe you guys can tell us what is your favorite piece of production or lyric in any one of these videos. Make a comment or, hit us up on Instagram or Twitter and let us know, because that's invaluable information for us to have. Like what speaks to you? What do you like? What do you not like?
If you guys have any questions too, lyrics or production side, like, would love to answer any questions you have about specific stuff we've done.
And we
specific programs and plugins and that kind of stuff.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah,
we're Mountenz, Mountenz, on all social platforms, and just hit us up.
Cool.
And that is
Tough Love. Real quick, my podcast, Positively Pessimistic. We're on socials at PosiPezzyPod, POSIPESSI. POD.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks for doing this, guys. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Trevor. Appreciate it.